and welcome back to Napoleon Total War with the Pike and Shot mod. It's been a while since I recorded the last episode because you guys decided that you wanted me to continue the French one into a few revolutionary episodes. But now that's finished, I'm back at Pike and Shot. So I have to kind of reinvest myself in this campaign and figure out what will happen, because it's been like 2-3 weeks since I recorded last episode, but I'm pretty sure I remember what was happening. So let's start over in the west. So over in the west we've got 3 armies ready to invade the Hessen-Kessel. We've got Tilly, we've got Pappenheim, and then we've got Wallenstein as the main army, all ready to cross the bridge onto Frankfurt, where the first Hesse-Kessel army is set up, and then move on the capital itself. However, the Ottomans have decided to declare war on us, so we are at war with the Ottomans, and we've kind of, the main armies of our assaults have bypassed each other. My main army is on the way to Budapest under Charles. The Bonaventure de Longueval is on his way to Budapest. He's got a full stack army. We've kind of scrambled together troops. We've brought in Cossack mercenaries from around the Dnieper, have been brought in to aid, and then the rest of them are either different kind of German troops that have been brought in. Got a few cannons and so on. But definitely not kind of an army that I've taken lots of time and kind of building up. I took what was at hand. Still, it's not a too mixed army, and it should have the range to hit Budapest. Budapest. I don't know why I said it like that. However, the Ottoman force, under the command of Ali Galip, has that also Ali Galip has made it towards Olmütz, and we won't be able to intercept him. Even if I turn back now, we don't even get halfway, and we'll run out of supplies, and I'm sure we'll lose even more on the way. So what I'm going to do here is, what we'll try to do is we'll have 2 battles. We're gonna get Longueval to take Budapest. That shouldn't be a problem. They might get support of these troops, but even then it's not going to be a problem. We got full stack army, full of heavy pikes and good musketeers. The Österreich musketeers are really good, 25 accuracy. The Cossack are 23, and then, you know, the pikes. I don't think the Ottomans have anything that can stand up against those kind of heavy pikes, and I don't think there's any cannons in this army either, nor anything to counter the heavy pistoliers. So I have advantage in everything: numbers, cavalry, cannons, infantry, musketeers, everything. And then it's the other way around here, because here we have a little bit of a garrison that will spawn 4 troops. I think it's a mortar, and then 2 musketeer units and a pike unit, but most of those units are absolutely shit, so there's no way we're gonna hold it against the stack that is coming on. What I can do is I can bring troops from the capital, so we can bring the pistoliers, so bring it up to 2 pistolier units. The pike units can march all the way up here on the road and might be able to reinforce the town once the Ottomans attack, and then the Cossacks will actually make it to the town. So I will be able to add on another 6 units to that, and then it'll make it a little bit easier for us to try and hold it. But it's still kind of not a done deal. And the thing is, I think I'd rather go ahead and try and defend it than trying to not defend it, because the capital will spawn a massive amount of troops, and if the Ottomans get through here, they can, you know, ransack through, and I definitely don't want that. So we're gonna try and bring as many troops into this battle as possible, but unfortunately those troops here is what we get, plus the ones that will spawn. Then in terms of what else is there? I mean, in terms of technology, this is kind of what's going on. We've got 2 centers now, so we've got Heidelberg in the Stuttgart region. Yes, in Heidelberg. And then we have our own, and currently we're doing wedge formation and treading wheel. So increase wealth for towns, and wedge formation, it gives wedge formation, and it will increase the cost of units. We'll see where we go from there. In terms of the economy, everything's going fine. We're getting 11,000 per turn. Most of my money is actually coming from tax, even though we've set up so much in trade. The thing is, though, if you come, I'm saying this because I'm coming from Empire, and in Empire is usually the other way around, where trade usually weighs very heavy on your economy, and it's kind of fickle because it's easily kind of blocked out. You can lose a lot of money. In Napoleon, because the limited scope of the campaign, trade, it's a very bigger different thing to, just trade in Europe compared to trading in the world. Still, though, I've been able to get it almost up to par with the tax income, and even with, what I'm saying with the tax income, I've said it too many times, but the increase of wealth, especially in the capital, is almost 500 gold per turn that it adds to this wealth of region. So within 10 turns, that's 5,000. If I run it to the same level that I ran the, if I would run it in many years or in many turns as I did the French campaign for Empire, I think I was up to like 300 turns, and you can imagine 500 per turn for 300 turns. That's a lot, and that's not even factoring in that this number will probably gain as we're building up the infrastructure. So far, in terms of the naval trade, there hasn't really been any problem. Oh yes, completely forgot. Where were with the French? Lots of nations decided to declare war on me, right? So we've got Netherlands, Ottoman, and France, and then 2 smaller nations. But France is a pretty big one, and it also actually threatens our naval campaign. Right, now I remember. So we've focused in all the trade ships into areas where it's easier to protect them. Now, French navies from up here could definitely go ahead and take out the sugar that we get from... where do we get the... from Tenerife? No. What is that? Recife? Somewhere. And we get ivory from Cameroon. They could easily take that. It's going to be a little bit harder to take this fleet out. But I am also, as now when I think about it, I am building up like a actually fighting force. So the India Trademan has a lot more firepower, a lot more guns, and a lot more troops on it. So we're getting 2 of those. So I'm pretty sure we will be able to win against the French if they actually dare come against our fleet, and we'll try to bottle up the French fleet right there. No real territory that I see that I want to take from the French, but so yeah, it's kind of an L fighting with France. I would rather just be trading with them. So we want to end that as soon as possible. Is there anything else that need to be said? No, not really. The only thing that could happen is like it would end turn and Sweden declares war on me. Probably with them and the Prussians, so Brandenburg, Prussia, would declare war on me. With that said, let's go ahead and see if I actually do make it to Budapest. No, I don't. I make it just outside. Now, I could actually go ahead and probably actually detach the general plus the pistoliers and then lay siege. And for some, it's not actually an auto-resolve, even though I think it definitely should be. They've got kind of these armed citizenry units, which, I mean, they've got accuracy of 10. So, it's kind of shit units. Right. A little bit of a problem here, because we get just the pistoliers to start off with, and then because it takes so long time for troops to walk around in this mod. It'll take quite a while until we actually be bringing to battle. I thought, you know, this is an out-result. This is a quick out-result. But it's actually about 3,000 men on either side, so as much as I would want to try and cram 2 battles into an episode, I think this one will be the only one, and we kind of get a refresher here, although when I actually when I release these videos, you probably won't see a difference at all. You'll be like, well, I perfectly well know what happened in last episode because it was only 2 days ago, or whatever speed I decide to release these episodes at. Yeah, enough talking though. We're all on the same page. Let's go ahead and strike up the drum and liberate the Hungarians from Ottoman rule. I say liberate within quote. I should put quotation marks on that. We will liberate them into another kind of substitute, being under the Austrian Empire instead of the Ottoman. But maybe with Christian brothers they might take more of a liking to that. With that said, let's draw into battle, shall we? The battle is about to commence. I've been able to draw up a defensive line prepared to defend this against the enemy. We've got the cannons here on a little bit of a high hill behind them, and then we have an interchangeable line of pikemen and musketeers, as you can see up here, where we've got lines of musketeers in between the pike units, or actually it should be it's gunners in between the wait, that's what I just said. Well, anyways, unfortunately we end the line with a musketeer unit rather than a pike unit, so that's what I was trying to say. Cannons already ripping on into the enemy. It's firing at the cavalry. I probably think we can do better by firing at the big formations of enemy infantry instead. We are relocating some of the pistoliers, so we can kind of get the view here of the battlefield. The 2 armies have come at each other, where the Austrians are just barely able to set up in between these 2 patches of woods just outside of village. I can't think of an Hungarian village right now, an Hungarian name for a village, but whatever village that is. We got pistoliers set up here, ready to move in on the flank, and then we'll hopefully get the other pistoliers over to that side to protect it. I think the lines, not the lines, but I think we're about to come to blows with the musketeers are about to open fire. You know what? You will fire on that, and maybe you can fire over there. We can bounce some shots through there. I wonder maybe if it's an advantage to hold fire until they get even a little bit closer. I think we can do quite a bit of damage on the cavalry to kind of break them up. Ooh, bowmen. That's actually quite dangerous, actually. And they've got quite a few of those. Right, everyone open up at the same time then. Do quite a bit of damage on them. Pretty good. Cannons will focus in on those units that is advancing on us. Right now the Cossacks over on this side haven't really been brought into the fight. We have surprisingly few casualties among our lines. I think their bows might be focusing in on the heavy pikes instead of the weaker musket troops. And as we can see, it's not really working out for them. This pike will advance, and will advance this pike as well. Go out to meet the enemy force and hold them off from the musketeer units. See if that works out. Seems to be working out pretty well. Is that a gunner unit? Yep, and it's spread out. Perfect target for the pistoliers. And then this pistolier unit can start to advance. How did he get attacked? All the way back here. Pistoliers will advance on this side. These guys come in a bit too close. So we've got pikes sallying forth over there. Looks like they didn't manage to fire at us. I think the pistoliers might have fired on them instead. Let's go ahead and retarget the cannons. I'm pretty sure we were hitting our own troops, and we can see some unhappiness there. Since the cannons are not firing, the general will stride forward straight through, and he will put the morale up among the troops here. Otherwise, we can see the enemies really focusing in on this area right here. And so these pikes will now advance. Alright, pistoliers open fire. We'll really put the squeeze here on these troops. And why don't you quickly move up the flank here, and then these two will follow. You continue to fire, you can continue to fire where you are. We'll order the pikes over here forward and the pikes over there. I think the general could probably open fire here and shoot a few enemies here. I think we're being fired upon possibly by the enemy general over here. Or if it's the Janissary unit actually that's firing on us. Yeah, I didn't want them to actually engage in melee. And then this musketeer unit will pull back, advance, and attack. Let's strike on all sides. I'll have the cavalry hold fire. You should not have been moved that far forward. Alright. Redraw the line a little bit here. I thought you were going to be firing over at this. And I'm not entirely sure why you're not firing. And as soon as I ask the question, then they start to fire. Cossacks here, firing at point blank into the flank. And one brave or foolish Cossack it turned out to be, joined the melee. Lots of fire going down on these guys. They're soon enough to be broken, same with the units over here. Let's get this pistolier around and put some pressure on the general. The Ottomans should be fearful about now, right about now, as a lot of their lines are breaking. You know what? I will order the Cossacks to charge in and break the enemy by just overwhelming them. At the same time, we've got massive fight over here. Lost quite a bit of cavalry. I'm surprised the enemy is holding on as well as they are. General's getting shot up in the back by my pistolier. The Cossacks have joined in force with our troops. And the enemy is slowly getting squeezed. The enemy general is actually a Tatar unit. So it's not really a proper Ottoman force. It seems to be more of a raiding force that they brought to bear against us, since they haven't the proper general, so it isn't as much of a proper attack that we're facing off against as it is a kind of a raiding force. Alright, you've shot plenty enough on the general now. The unit that is holding on is the Janissaries over here. They need to be broken with a charge of a cuirassier. Or pistoliers, I should say. Yeah, try not to shoot our own troops. The enemy really holds on to the very last, and I'm gonna make sure that they are very much the very last, as my cavalry will be ordered to chase down those lucky few that will spare the main battle. We have a Cossack unit almost at the point of breaking. Fighting up here. The Tatar unit is doing quite the damage to them. I will order the Cossacks to retire and will end the enemy with pikes instead. We can turn around and then shoot down the retreating troops. Cavalry will be chasing down the remainder of these bastards, and there we go, victory was achieved. They might have had the numbers, but they didn't have what it would take to break down our very formidable defensive line with heavy pikes. But we have to remember that this was the smaller force. This was the force that I thought was a rollover, that we would easily crush these. As we kinda did, it's gonna be a completely different thing when I have to go after the when I have to go after or defend Olmütz against the sort of proper Ottoman force that is moving forward. Hopefully though, by taking Budapest, we might persuade them to pull off that attack, as they surely would lose a lot of troops in attacking Olmütz, and they would be cut off, since we have taken control of the entirety of the Hungarian plains. But enough of looking at this. Let's head back to the campaign map. And here's the result of that battle. We deployed equal forces, with the enemy deploying about 110 men more than us. Not that that made much difference, as they managed to lose everyone but 32 men. I think that's more due to the fact that the enemy fought to the very end rather than running. We only had very few breaks at the very end of the battle. The result ended up with me losing about 1,000 men, so roughly a third of my force was killed, while the enemy lost 99%. So I think that's a good trade. It goes down to a pike regiment to kill the most, followed by pistoliers, no surprise there. They were able to ride down a lot of enemy. And then we also have a Cossack footman, ending up in 6th place. Cannons doing the least of damage, comprising of 20 men in total. General getting 26. But with that, the Ottoman force that was protecting the bridge was destroyed, and oh, I cannot actually create a Hungarian nation, so we'll peacefully occupy the area. It is 20% Catholic, no, 80% Catholic and 20% Protestants. There is no Ottoman or Muslim religion to be seen at all in this region. And seemingly, there are no Ottoman forces on the way at all either. I will take the time to look over what we're gonna do with this province. Well, I would say that normally I probably would have been breaking down these military barracks and building civilian buildings. But until we've taken this actually has a fort. Until I've actually taken the Balkans or Belgrade, these will continue to be lager that we can recruit troops from. Interesting to see that the Ottomans now are left without allies for such a wide area. Like, there's no Ottoman force to be seen. I'm pretty sure I'd seen more forces. Could be that there are more forces hidden in the woods here that I forgot about. Maybe turn up in an end turn or something like that. I'm also kind of surprised with just how few structures Hungary is. Like, the province is huge, but it's a one tile for the main town, and then there's 3 villages, 1 farm, 1 pasture, and then we've got 1 armory over there. You would think there'd be more areas in what is probably one of the biggest provinces on the map. If we look at the map down here, it's definitely one of the biggest ones, but having the least, like, within it, which is I don't know. I mean, for the Napoleonic Wars, maybe the Hungarian plains didn't play that much of a significance, but when I was reading up a little bit about it, seeing about, because I didn't really find any history behind the Ottomans doing more than raids, like not proper declaring war against the Austrians at the time. As reading up through that, I found that the Austrians were able to, a lot of revenue was actually being generated through what they held of Hungarian lands. So it wasn't really like a throwaway area. Although now when I think about it, I don't know really. I mean, I think I was reading about the correct time period. It could maybe have been earlier. But it was around the 1600s, I think. So it wasn't as sparse of a province as it kind of seems here, where there's actually 89,000 people living here. I don't know, maybe there was 80. I mean, in terms of people, maybe it was, but the province was definitely generating quite a bit of revenue. Anyways, it would have definitely looked a lot different if this was a 1600s mod. I think there would be a lot more areas set up for different kind of border conflicts, when sort of smaller provinces be brought up into smaller province, sort of, as this was more of an area of fighting in between the Habsburgs and the Ottomans. But enough talking for this episode. I don't think I will be able to fit another battle into this, so we'll leave this battle for the next one. And I'll leave you with this. I'll say as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye.